Throughout my life, I've held various jobs before finding my true passion as a storyteller specializing in horror narratives. However, one particular job stands out as an unsettling chapter in my past. I used to work for a cleaning company assigned to clean different businesses, primarily office buildings. Late nights became my realm, and I relished the quietude and ease of navigating the city devoid of traffic. Yet, as fate would have it, one office building would forever etch itself into my memory. Upon arriving at the building, I would find myself the sole occupant, entrusted with a checklist of tasks to complete before departing. Although not a vast structure, the three-story edifice possessed an eerie atmosphere. As I stepped inside, the darkness engulfed the surroundings, shrouding the corridors and rooms in a veil of obscurity. Commencing my work on the first floor, I diligently attended to the myriad cleaning duties, vacuuming the floors, sanitizing the bathrooms, and tending to various areas. I progressed methodically, anticipating the conclusion of my tasks in a couple of hours. It was during my transition to the second floor that a sense of unease began to manifest. While engrossed in the rhythmic hum of the vacuum, an unexpected sound reached my ears, a faint yet distinct noise emanating from the elevator shaft. The elevator, previously motionless, had come to life, ascending to the third floor. I froze, momentarily ceasing my work. Anxiety permeated my being as I pondered the implications of an unauthorized presence within the building. Rationalizing the situation, I convinced myself that there must be a reasonable explanation for the unforeseen disturbance. Yet, the lingering doubt gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. Suppressing my trepidation, I pressed on, resuming my duties on the second floor. However, my attention was perpetually divided as the noises persisted, piercing through the veil of silence and insinuating a disconcerting presence. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, I ventured toward the origin of the sounds, hoping to dispel the mounting apprehension. It was as if an invisible force guided my steps, drawing me closer to the unknown. Arriving at the scene, I beheld an empty corridor, devoid of any visible signs of intrusion. Yet, the eerie noises persisted, growing louder and seemingly more proximate. Suddenly, the hidden figure materialized before me, a man, sprinting from behind a wall, vanishing into a nearby hallway, and disappearing into the labyrinthine depths of the stairwell. My glimpse of him lasted mere seconds, leaving me with a fleeting impression of a trespasser. Determined to unravel the mystery, I hastened to the stairwell, swinging open the door in anticipation of apprehending the intruder. To my bewilderment, the stairwell stood empty, devoid of any trace of the man's presence. It was as though he had vanished into thin air, leaving me with more questions than answers. Shouting into the empty void, demanding his identity and commanding his departure, my words echoed fruitlessly, and then, as if complying with my ultimatum, a door creaked open on the first floor, followed by its subsequent closure. The man had retreated, heeding my warning. Remaining vigilant, I lingered in the stairwell, attuned to the surrounding silence. Minutes passed, seemingly stretching into an eternity, before I summoned the courage to continue my duties on the second floor. Time pressed on, and I steadfastly adhered to my routine, driven by a mixture of apprehension and determination. It seemed that the trespasser had relinquished his pursuit, for the remainder of my time on the second floor remained undisturbed. With the completion of the second floor, a fragile sense of relief washed over me. Despite the lingering tension, I pushed forward, ascending to the third and final level. The routine resumed, cleaning, sanitizing, and meticulously tidying each area. As the minutes ticked by without incident, my confidence grew, and I allowed myself to believe that the intruder had retreated into the depths of the night. However, fate had other plans. As I navigated one of the dimly lit hallways, a symphony of footsteps erupted behind me, resonating through the air with a chilling intensity. My heart skipped a beat, and a shiver ran down my spine. How was it possible for the man to reappear on this floor? The element of surprise shattered my fragile composure, replacing it with sheer terror. With a surge of adrenaline, I whirled around, catching a fleeting glimpse of the intruder before instinct took over, compelling me to flee. Panic gripped me tightly as I sprinted toward the nearest staircase, my heart pounding in my chest. and the sound of my own labored breath filling my ears. The footsteps pursued me relentlessly, growing ever closer, a menacing reminder of the danger nipping at my heels. I raced down the stairs, my mind racing just as swiftly, desperately seeking an escape from this nightmarish ordeal. The relentless pursuit of the unknown figure persisted, a haunting echo of malevolence that seemed determined to claim me. My trembling limbs propelled me downward, my very survival hanging in the balance. Finally, with trembling hands and a surge of hope, I burst through the doors to the first floor. The outside world greeted me with a breath of fresh air, momentarily shielding me from the encroaching darkness within. Fueled by sheer willpower, I sprinted towards my work truck, my sanctuary in this harrowing night. Safe within the confines of my vehicle, I fumbled for my phone, dialing the emergency number with trembling fingers. As I awaited the arrival of the police, my mind raced, replaying the chilling events that had unfolded. How had the intruder managed to elude capture on 2 separate occasions? What drove him to pursue me with such relentless determination? Minutes stretched into an agonizing eternity until the flashing lights of law enforcement vehicles pierced the night. Relief flooded over me as uniformed officers stormed into the building, prepared to confront the unknown menace that had plagued my every step. Anxious minutes turned into what felt like hours until, finally, they emerged, triumphant, escorting the apprehended trespasser. In the aftermath of that traumatic night, I found solace in the company of the police officers and my concerned boss. They assured me that I had acted with bravery and caution, commending my quick thinking and subsequent escape. The man, it turned out, was a disturbed individual with a history of targeting lone individuals in isolated places. As I gathered my belongings from the building, my mind swirled with lingering questions. What were the intentions of the mysterious intruder? What fate awaited me had he caught up to me in those darkened hallways? I shuddered, grateful that I had evaded his clutches and emerged from that nightmarish encounter relatively unscathed. The incident left an indelible mark on my psyche, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. From that point forward, my fascination with horror storytelling took on a deeper meaning. I used my talent as a storyteller to exorcise my fears, weaving tales of suspense, darkness, and the triumph of the human spirit over malevolent forces. And so, with each chilling tale I recounted, I hope to empower others, reminding them of the strength that resides within, even in the face of unimaginable horrors. Through my stories, I aim to instill a sense of caution and awareness, urging listeners to trust their instincts and embrace their inner resilience. Word of my expertise in horror storytelling spread, attracting audiences eager for spine-tingling tales that echoed the harrowing experiences I had endured. Whether I was speaking at intimate gatherings or large-scale events, my narratives captivated listeners, eliciting gasps, shivers, and nervous laughter. Within the dark corners of those tales, I found solace. Each whispered word served as a cathartic release, allowing me to confront the lingering fears that had taken root within me. And in sharing those tales, I discovered that I was not alone. Countless individuals came forward, recounting their own encounters with the unknown, seeking solace and validation in the shared experience of terror. Embracing my newfound purpose, I delved deeper into the realm of horror, expanding my repertoire to encompass legends, folklore, and urban myths. The world was a tapestry of chilling tales waiting to be unraveled, and I was determined to weave them into unforgettable narratives. As my reputation grew, I was invited to haunted locations, eerie landscapes, and ancient sites steeped in supernatural lore. It was during these ventures that I encountered firsthand the residual echoes of malevolence that permeated such places. I stood amidst crumbling ruins, the weight of history pressing upon me as the spirits of the past whispered their secrets, begging to be heard. Every encounter fueled my passion, motivating me to delve further into the darkness. I sought out forgotten manuscripts, researched occult practices, and explored the recesses of the human psyche to unearth the deepest fears that lay dormant within us all. Through tireless nights of study and reflection, I honed my craft, crafting narratives that straddled the thin line between reality and the supernatural. But amidst the macabre tapestry I wove, a lingering question haunted my thoughts. What had driven the man in the office building to pursue me with such intensity? His face, obscured by shadows, remained etched in my memory, an enigma I yearned to unravel. Despite my best efforts, I could not shake the feeling that our encounter had been more than a mere chance encounter. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, I delved into investigative journalism, determined to uncover the truth behind that fateful night. The labyrinthine trail led me to forgotten police reports, cold case archives, and witness testimonies. Each clue, no matter how obscure, brought me closer to unraveling the mystery that had plagued my thoughts for so long. And then, one fateful day, I stumbled upon a revelation that sent shivers down my spine. It was a forgotten news article buried within the depths of a dusty archive. The headline read, "Office Building Intruder, A History of Darkness." The article detailed a series of unsolved disappearances, all linked to the same office building that had become the backdrop of my own terrifying encounter. The truth unveiled itself, weaving a tapestry of horror that extended far beyond my own experience. The man who had pursued me that night was no ordinary trespasser. He was a manifestation of a malevolent force that had claimed the lives of many, its insatiable hunger for fear fueling its eternal existence. The building, a vessel of darkness, had become a breeding ground for its wicked machinations. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I realized that my encounter was not merely a random incident, but a battle fought between good and evil, a pivotal moment in a much larger tapestry of supernatural occurrences. And so, armed with my stories and the truths I had uncovered, I embarked on a mission to shed light on the dark corners of the world, to expose the hidden forces that preyed on the unsuspecting. With a renewed purpose, I traveled to haunted locations across the globe, investigating paranormal phenomena and unearthing forgotten legends. Each journey brought me closer to the truth as I encountered spirits, confronted malevolent entities, and witnessed the inexplicable firsthand. Through my storytelling, I shared these encounters with the world, warning others of the lurking dangers that awaited in the shadows. People were drawn to my narratives, not only for the thrill, but also for the valuable lessons embedded within. I became a beacon of guidance, urging listeners to embrace their inner strength and face their deepest fears head-on. But as my reputation grew, so did the darkness that sought to extinguish the light I offered. The malevolent force I had encountered in the office building became aware of my presence, and its tendrils extended beyond the boundaries of that fateful night. It sent forth its minions, shadowy figures and whispering spirits, in a desperate attempt to silence me. I faced countless challenges, battling supernatural entities and delving into the depths of forbidden knowledge to uncover the weaknesses of the malevolent force. The line between reality and nightmare blurred as I navigated treacherous realms, armed only with my wit and a determination forged by the echoes of my past. But it was in the darkest moments that I discovered my true power, a power that resided not in my ability to terrify, but in my capacity to inspire courage and resilience. I understood that the battle against darkness was not one fought with weapons, but with the strength of the human spirit. I became a symbol of hope, a voice that dared to challenge the forces that thrived on fear. Word of my endeavors reached a clandestine society, a group of individuals united by their knowledge of the supernatural and their dedication to preserving the balance between light and dark. They invited me to join their ranks, to share my experiences and insights, and to collaborate in their mission to protect the innocent from the encroaching shadows. Together, we formed an alliance, a fellowship of storytellers, scholars, and guardians. Armed with ancient knowledge, sacred artifacts, and an unyielding resolve, we traversed the darkest corners of existence, uncovering hidden truths and thwarting the machinations of evil. And so, my journey continues, weaving tales of horror and hope, navigating the thin line between the tangible and the supernatural. Through my stories, I inspire bravery, kindle resilience, and illuminate the hidden dangers that lie in wait. I am a guardian of the night, a storyteller of the macabre, and a beacon of light in the face of darkness. For as long as malevolence persists, my voice will endure, echoing through the corridors of fear, reminding all who listen that even in the most harrowing of circumstances, the human spirit can triumph over the forces that seek to consume it. And in the battle against the unknown, it is the power of our shared stories that will guide us towards the dawn of a safer world. 5 years ago, I found myself working at a gas station in a small and quiet city. The overnight shifts became my routine, as the station remained open throughout the night, catering to occasional passersby. It was a relatively uneventful job, but the solitude and darkness of those late hours always made me feel a sense of unease. The gas station was located alongside a road, not too far from the highway, ensuring a steady flow of traffic. However, there were no other businesses in close proximity, making the gas station a solitary oasis in the night. Despite the lack of customers, I faithfully manned the station, never knowing who might walk through the doors or what dangers lurked in the shadows. During my initial weeks on the job, nothing out of the ordinary occurred. The nights passed by in quiet monotony, with only the distant hum of passing vehicles breaking the silence. However, that sense of normalcy was abruptly shattered one fateful night, forever etching itself into my memory. It was approximately 2:30 a.m., and the surroundings were enveloped in darkness. As I sat behind the counter, the monotony of the night began to lull me into a drowsy state. Suddenly, the headlights of a car pierced through the darkness, signaling the arrival of an unexpected visitor. The vehicle bypassed the gas pumps and veered towards the parking spaces in front of the station. Curiosity piqued, I observed the car's movements intently. Instead of parking in the designated spaces, it took an abrupt turn and headed towards the side of the building, where a couple of extra parking spaces were located. A sliver of unease crept into my consciousness, but I dismissed it as a mere anomaly. Within moments, a figure emerged from the vehicle, a man of indeterminate age and appearance. He walked purposefully towards the front entrance, and as he entered the gas station, his gaze fixed directly upon me. An inexplicable chill ran down my spine, but I maintained my composure, ready to assist the customer with whatever query he had. The man wasted no time in voicing his concern. He explained that there was a problem with the free air pump located on the side of the building, adjacent to one of the parking spaces. He claimed that his car's tires were in desperate need of inflation and beseeched me for assistance. Though uncertain of my ability to resolve the issue, I agreed to accompany him and investigate the alleged malfunction. Together, we ventured outside, leaving the safety of the gas station's interior. As we approached the air pump, something seemed amiss. The man's SUV, instead of being parked at the designated location, was situated a few spaces away. Perplexed, I cast a cursory glance at the tires and noted that they appeared to be adequately inflated, contradicting the man's initial claim. Undeterred, I reached for the air pump, determined to determine the veracity of the man's complaint. To my surprise, the machine operated flawlessly, filling the silence with its low hum. Puzzled, I relayed the information to the man, assuring him that the air pump seemed to be in working order. However, as I turned to face him, a foreboding sensation seized my senses. It was as if the night itself held its breath, anticipating an ominous turn of events. Sensing my unease, the man urged me to continue explaining the air pump's usage, as if hoping to divert my attention from an unfolding malevolence. With trepidation, I complied, all the while maintaining a watchful eye on the surroundings. Yet, it was the movement caught in my peripheral vision that brought my worst fears to life. The SUV, eerily, drifted backward, its tires emitting a soft screech against the pavement. A wave of alarm washed over me, threatening to shatter my composed facade. Before I could utter a single word of caution, the man interrupted, urging me to press on with my explanation. His voice laced with an unsettling urgency. As the words escaped my lips, a sinister realization dawned upon me. The SUV was deliberately hurtling toward me. Time seemed to slow to a crawl as I instinctively leaped out of harm's way, narrowly evading the speeding vehicle. My heart pounded in my chest, its thunderous rhythm echoing the adrenaline coursing through my veins. The SUV crashed into the air pump, causing a cacophony of twisted metal and shattering glass. My breath caught in my throat as I watched in disbelief. The driver, his intentions now laid bare, swiftly maneuvered the vehicle, veering sharply to the side. Panic surged within me, propelling me to seek refuge within the safety of the gas station's confines. With trembling hands, I fumbled to secure the door locks, barricading myself from the imminent danger. From behind the glass barrier, I witnessed the car circling the parking lot before accelerating onto the road, disappearing into the night. A sense of profound vulnerability washed over me. Realizing that I had narrowly escaped a potentially fatal encounter, shaken and rattled, I remained vigilant within the fortified gas station, desperately awaiting the arrival of the police. They arrived shortly, their presence bringing a semblance of reassurance amidst the lingering fear. I provided them with every detail I could recall: the make and model of the car, a description of the assailant, and the sequence of events that unfolded in that chilling encounter. Unfortunately, the security cameras, intended to ensure the safety of the premises, proved futile in capturing the incident. Their view was obstructed, leaving no trace of the malevolent driver or his ill-fated intentions. Despite the absence of concrete evidence, the police assured me that they would conduct a thorough investigation, aiming to bring the assailant to justice. In the aftermath of that harrowing incident, I made a decision that would alter the trajectory of my life. The gas station, once a symbol of employment, now served as a constant reminder of the vulnerability that lurked in the darkest hours of the night. With a heavy heart, I tendered my resignation the following day, determined to leave behind the shadows that had tainted my sense of security. Since that night, I have harbored deep respect for those who brave the lonely hours, working in the graveyard shifts of gas stations. Their unwavering dedication in the face of uncertainty and potential danger deserves recognition. As for the motivations of the unknown assailant, the answers remain elusive, buried within the realm of unanswered questions and unspoken horrors. To this day, the memory of that narrow escape haunts me, a chilling reminder that evil can manifest even in the most mundane of settings. I carry with me a heightened vigilance, forever aware that darkness can cloak malevolence, ready to strike when least expected. And as I recount this tale, my hope is that it serves as a cautionary tale, urging others to remain vigilant and trust their instincts when confronted with the inexplicable and the unknown. As a female bartender residing in the heart of the city, my life was a whirlwind of excitement and late-night adventures. The bar where I worked buzzed with energy, drawing in a vibrant crowd, while my cozy apartment building nestled just a few blocks away provided solace after the chaos of the night. However, within the tapestry of my experiences, there lay a dark and sinister thread, which unraveled itself a year ago. On that fateful night, as the clock struck 2 or 3 in the morning, I found myself caught in a flurry of activity within the bustling bar. The sidewalk outside teemed with passers-by, their footsteps resonating through the air. Amidst the crowd, my attention was unexpectedly drawn to a peculiar figure, a man adorned in outdated sunglasses and a hat. His gaze fixated upon me as he paused on the sidewalk, peering through the bar's expansive window. Although I initially dismissed the encounter as a fleeting peculiarity, my unease grew steadily. Time slipped away, consumed by the demands of my job, and it was during a rare lull that the man reappeared, his eyes boring into mine with an unsettling intensity. I couldn't help but return his gaze, my heart quickening with each passing moment. His unmoving presence, standing merely inches away from the window, sent chills down my spine. After what felt like an eternity, he finally retreated, vanishing into the night. To my knowledge, he never stepped foot inside the bar, and his identity remained a mystery obscured by darkness. With the conclusion of my shift, I embarked on my customary journey home, traversing the dimly lit streets that were typically devoid of life at such late hours. As I neared an obscure alleyway, a flicker of apprehension tingled in my veins. Standing within the shadows, about 50 feet ahead, was the same man, the enigmatic figure who had haunted my thoughts since our initial encounter. The sheer audacity of his presence, lurking in the desolate alley, sent shivers cascading down my spine. I hastened my pace, keenly aware of his gaze lingering upon me. A surge of paranoia gripped me, and I instinctively fumbled for my mace, seeking reassurance in its presence. Miraculously, as I continued on my way, he remained concealed within the darkness, never venturing beyond the confines of the alley. Though relieved, the experience left an indelible mark on my consciousness, forever altering my perception of safety during the nocturnal hours. Upon reaching the sanctuary of my 5th-floor apartment, weariness settled upon me like a heavy shroud. I retreated into the solace of my bedroom, casting a final glance out of the window that framed the city's panorama. However, my tranquility was shattered as my gaze descended to the street below. There he stood, unrelenting in his pursuit, a specter haunting the periphery of my existence. His eyes locked onto mine, unblinking and filled with an unsettling determination. Panic surged through my veins as I hastily drew the blinds. Seeking refuge from his unwelcome intrusion, questions echoed within my mind. How had he discovered my abode? Which specific apartment did he seek? The answers eluded me, lost in the depths of his mysterious agenda. In the days that followed, paranoia clung to me like a persistent shadow. Desperate for answers, I confided in friends and coworkers, hoping to unveil the identity of this relentless stalker. However, their collective knowledge yielded no answers, leaving us all unsettled and concerned for my safety. Their advice was unanimous: report the incidents to the police, especially if the man were to resurface. But for a while, life seemed to regain a semblance of normalcy, and the memory of the haunting encounters began to fade. Weeks passed, and complacency settled within the depths of my consciousness. I had almost forgotten the chilling episodes that had consumed my thoughts. It was on one seemingly ordinary night, after returning home from work and preparing to retire for the evening, that the sinister melody of fear played once again. Engrossed in my nightly routine, I found solace in the familiar ritual of washing my face. As the soothing water cascaded over my skin, a faint noise penetrated the veil of tranquility, a whisper of unease that lingered outside my apartment's threshold. With the water turned off, I strained my ears, and there it was, the unmistakable sound of my front door knob being manipulated. A cold shiver danced down my spine, but relief washed over me as I realized that I had secured the door, or so I thought. Moments stretched into eternity as a haunting silence settled upon the hallway, broken only by a single knock, a menacing, deliberate rapping on my door. Dread constricted my chest as I peered through the peephole, knowing deep within my being that the man responsible for my restless nights stood mere inches away. The realization gripped me, thrusting me into a realm of vulnerability and fear. Succumbing to a cautious impulse, I retreated silently into the sanctuary of my bedroom. Ensconced within the confines of that space, I reached for my phone and dialed the emergency number, my trembling fingers navigating the keys with utmost care. My voice, barely above a whisper, conveyed the escalating danger I found myself in, seeking refuge within the steady reassurance of the police. Help was on its way, but until then, I could only hope that the intruder would retreat. With bated breath, I stood rooted in the doorway, straining to hear any indication of the man's presence. The air hung heavy with tension, and in those interminable minutes, I could hear him trying the door once more, his persistence matched only by my rising anxiety. Then, a prolonged silence descended, broken only by the gentle rhythm of my own heartbeat. Had he given up, or was he biding his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike? Summoning all the courage I possessed, I dared to glance through the peephole once more. To my immense relief, the figure that had haunted my existence was engaged in a conversation with the arriving police officer, their voices fading into the distance. As they moved down the hallway, soon after, a knock echoed through my apartment once more, heralding the arrival of the officer assigned to my case. As the officer relayed the encounter that unfolded outside my door, a sense of vindication washed over me. The man, fueled by deception, had concocted a fabricated tale, a feeble attempt to conceal his malicious intentions. I had not dropped any money on that fateful night, and his presence outside my door bore no resemblance to a benevolent act of returning lost funds. The truth had been unearthed, but the sinister enigma surrounding his motives lingered, forever casting a shadow over my once tranquil existence. Days turned into weeks, and life slowly regained its semblance of normalcy. The man, like a wisp of darkness, vanished from my life, leaving behind unanswered questions and a lingering sense of unease. How had he discovered my whereabouts? Had he stalked me, meticulously observing my every move? The enigmatic specter of his presence continued to haunt my thoughts, leaving me perpetually wary of the shadows that concealed unseen eyes. Months stretched into years, and as time passed, the echoes of that harrowing chapter began to fade. The city pulsated with life, enveloping me in its vibrant rhythm once again. I immersed myself in my work, finding solace in the familiar faces that frequented the bar, but a part of me remained forever changed by the malevolent presence that had stalked me. Yet, as the wounds of the past scarred over, a newfound strength blossomed within me. I refused to succumb to the fear that had once held me captive. Instead, I channeled my experiences into a driving force, dedicating myself to spreading awareness about personal safety and advocating for those who had fallen victim to the shadows. In the depths of my restless nights, I penned my experiences, giving birth to a haunting tale that gripped the imaginations of those who dared to read it. As a storyteller, I wielded words like a weapon against the encroaching darkness, reminding others that they were not alone in their fears. With each passing year, the specter of the man who had haunted my existence faded further into the recesses of memory. His identity, forever lost in the labyrinth of my past, became an enigma consigned to the annals of forgotten nightmares. Although the wounds he inflicted had left their mark, I refused to let him define me. Today, I stand as a testament to resilience, a beacon of hope for those who find themselves ensnared in the clutches of fear. The whispers of the past may still flicker in the corners of my consciousness, but they serve as a reminder of the strength I have forged from the crucible of adversity. As a bartender, I continue to serve patrons with a smile, unaware of the battles they may be fighting within. Behind the counter, I am not just a purveyor of spirits, but a guardian of tales, both light and dark. And within the ebb and flow of whispered confessions, the haunting melody of my own story weaves its way, a testament to the indomitable spirit that refuses to be silenced by the encroaching shadows of the night. In the end, it is through the power of our collective narratives that we find solace, strength, and the courage to face the terrors that lurk in the darkest corners of our world. And as the storyteller of my own tale, I will forever cherish the light that emerges from the depths of the darkness, casting its glow upon the path that leads me forward into a future unburdened by the specter of fear.